Hi everybody, my name is Troy Richardson. I'm a zipline expert. With a few patents, I'm an inventor. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Me and my wife were just recently inducted into the Amusement Park Historical Association at IAAPA. IAAPA is the biggest amusement park association in the world. They have 4 events throughout the world. One of them is in Orlando every November. I've been attending for about 10 years. Let's move on. Ziplining, that's where all my patents started. I started with ziplines at Park City Mountain Resort. Back in the day, in 2002, there was only 10, 12 ziplines. Today, there's over 500, just in the US alone. Let's move on. American Adventure Park Systems has 300 ziplines on 300 acres in Georgia. Takes you 2.5 days to get through it. They're partners of ours, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to build a giant challenge course like what you're seeing there and put 100 ziplines on 5 acres. Move on. So the Park City Mountain Resort is accident-free. The big problem with the industry today is there's a lot of accidents, to the point where nobody wants to insure them. How many deaths do you think there are in the zipline community every year in the U.S.? Great answer. 5. 5 too many. Guess how many I've had this year that I've looked at or investigated? 5. I was on Catalina Island. I know, you got to be in Vegas. I was on Catalina Island earlier this month investigating the 4th wrongful death that I've done in the last 3 years. It's unfortunate, really unfortunate, because we have a better safety system. And it's the standards, and it's following guidelines, but the industry is just not there. You know, what I felt bad about when I met with these people as I'm looking over and investigating this accident site is I thought, don't worry, you didn't know any better. You didn't know any better. Because the staff usually don't. They don't. They don't get trained well enough. They don't understand what it requires to keep people safe. They don't know what the manufacturer's guidelines are. And that's where we come in. Move on. So, safer ziplines. This zipline company out here, 0 accidents. That's who I'm partnering with. They're partners of mine. I connected with them about 8 years ago. Move on. So let's watch this video. We're going to see some video of accidents here, and nobody died. But everybody's livelihood changed. Go ahead. She ended up in a wheelchair. This lady was a teacher. The guide's talking about doing a backflip up there. He totally forgets to reset the brake. I mean, how he couldn't hear that zip line in the background, I'll never know. This guy lost his ability to procreate at a ski resort. Ski resort should know better. Move on. Keep going. So really, the big problem is two-wheeled pulleys. Pulleys run on cables. And anybody been ziplining here? Anybody got hurt while they were ziplining? I get hurt every time. You know, it's because realistically, for me, I know the problems, and I know what my shoulders can do, and I know the entropy of my world, and I need to be there, you know, be there for these people. So let's talk about what we're doing. At Park City Mountain Resort, we come up with friction braking trolleys 22 years ago. Let's go ahead and see what friction braking trolleys can do after we've seen the accidents. "34-degree slope, and they're stopping as they touch the springs." This is our Park City Mountain Resort build. Built it in 2002. Safest zip line in the world. 0 accidents, 23 years. That's unheard of when the industry is literally saying 1 accident for 6,700 people. The insurance companies predicted 15 accidents for every 100,000. This is our 42-degree slope. Imagine stopping somebody. That's like falling off a ladder if you're on a two-wheeled pulley, straight down. This is our auto braking trolleys at Rolly's Red Barn. Same weight of riders. This actual one was a little bit lighter. Stops here, keeps going. This is a zip line I built in my backyard. The industry kept telling me, you could not build something in your backyard and show us that it works. And I said, yes, you can, because physics are physics. I keep adding weight. Weight is the problem. If you're an industry going zipline and you're a bigger person, the odds of you getting in an accident are 3 times greater. My backyard zipline. I threw it up over the top of my garage. People would laugh and whatever. I'm like, I'm proving a point. Two-wheeled pulley on the left, friction braking trolley on the right. Rolly's Red Barn, you can check it out. Next. So the purpose is to showcase this friction braking trolleys because I've investigated over 200 accidents and many of the big players won't buy from me. They're like, oh shoot, Troy, that 4-letter word. Because that's what I am, as a 4-letter word in the industry. At that wrongful death at Catalina Island, 4 experts showed up to defend against me as their plaintiff. They're coming after me. But we're going to show them. Let's move through these patents. So I got 5 U.S. patents. And I have several pending. Recently, my ZipSafe trademark issued. Go on. Community events. One of the things that we're going to do for this park, and go ahead and move through, is we're going to have community events. We're going to build this 6-story challenge course on 5 acres and have 100 zip lines that are gravity-defying and slow you down. We can come off 42 degrees easy and stop you. And we're going to build it right here in Utah County. Move on. Safety is no accident. Our mantra is doing better is knowing better. And we know better because I write a lot of expert reports that tell people what they did wrong. I try to explain to them what they can do right next time. Move on. So our braking solutions are this friction braking trolley, and we have the barrel-shaped springs. These are all part of my patents. Move on. So there's in the U.S., they came out with this Outdoor Recreation Act. So we can get grants to build these things. This was a U.S. thing back in the, Utah produced, next one. Utah did their next one, Outdoor Recreation Act. It was a House Bill 200, passed this past January. After this 2023 Outdoor Recreation Act, Utah's recreation economy was jumped to $9.5 billion, up 18%. Move on. So the revenue that we plan on generating from this giant challenge course is 1.2 to 1.5 annually. Because at Park City Mountain Resort, when I built that one in 2002, the ROI on that was 6 months. It was a $600,000 build. They only had 2 lines. We've got 100. Move on. So the demographics that we have to work with is we have 80,000 college students in Utah County alone. We have over 700,000 grade schoolers because we're going to market to them as well. The B2B stuff, I think there's 50 companies in the U.S. or in Utah County that have over 500 employees. 50. And wedding venues, because getting married is a challenge. And why not do it on a challenge course? I've already had people say, are you going to let people have weddings there? Move on. So we're going to partner with American Adventure Park Systems. We're going to need some engineering money because all these 6-story challenge courses are going to need zip lines coming off. 16 per level. Move on. We're going to create a thrill destination. Move on. It's a blue ocean strategy. If you've read that book, and I had a friend of mine that mentioned it, and I went ahead and read it, we used to live in the red ocean where I was investigating the accidents and nobody was buying because they knew that I was the bad guy. But I'm not the bad guy. I'm the good guy. I'm the guy that's going to save this industry, I hope. Move on. 200 patrons is what they average. And if you look over here, this little mega structure, 4 staff, 200 patrons every 3 to 4 hours. Move on. One of the things I did at my UVU master's degree, which I started last fall, is I added an advisory board. When I built my zipline in Spanish Fork in 2009, I didn't have a board. This board is dynamic, and I didn't have enough room, and these guys had really nice LinkedIn pages, and so that's who you got. So, remember I talked about 100,000 visitors? That's about what they average at these parks. We're only looking at getting 20,000, and we're at 2.3 million. Move on. Let's go ahead and look at this walkthrough. Nathan back there in the back, and he might come up and bring his walkthrough that he just finished. But we're going to show you this walkthrough. We want to do a walkthrough because when people get to our park, we want to show them how this works. One of the things that we're going to do, and I'll explain it as we go. Go ahead and, oh, you're going to have to go back because I think there's a button right there. The ZipSafe Adventure Park. That circular walkway, we're going to charge $20 for people to go in there and walk up there. And we're going to have storytelling events. They're going to go up to the top and be an observation deck. I was at a baseball park yesterday, and I thought, man, it'd be cool to be watching this game from up here. Surrounding that circular walkway is going to be a challenge course that you can work through and work your way up. Each one of these lines is going to be a zip line that you can come off of and go to another tower. We're going to play games there, like zips and ladders. We're going to have monitors that tell you what to do. We've got guys in the back there that was on that advisory board who created a game in a haunted house last October. We can do better because we know better. We can keep this park out of lawsuits because we know how to follow the standards, we know how to follow manufacturers' guidelines, and that creates a summary judgment. Move on. Seed money. We're looking for seed money for our engineering of our trolleys and our springs to make sure that they're aligned with all the standards as well as the structures, make sure we can get all the zip lines on there. Second round, we're looking at building that at Eagle Mountain. I've got a presentation there on the 6th of May, and we're going to pitch the idea to them. Cash flow turns positive at year 2, break even at year 3. And let me tell you, these parks that I've been talking to that we want to add the zip lines, they're all saying an ROI is 2 years. Move on. One more. Great. One more. Thank you. Questions? Go ahead.
Okay, you want the good news or the bad news?
I want any news from you, Tom.
The good news is this is going to be a booming industry because as robots start taking over our work, people have more leisure time. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
The bad news is it's going to become real estate dependent. I lived in Idaho Springs, Colorado. I had 2 zip lines within 3 miles of my house. One had a great zip line with a kind of hidden location. The other one had a whole adventure park right on the highway. The guy barely makes money with the great zip line with a bus that takes you to the top of the hill so you can come down. And the other guy is just making bank like crazy with people actually walking up the stairs. I think it's important for you to get a site that has some elevation to it and get together maybe with the people of Doppelmayr in Salt Lake City and get yourself a chairlift because that cuts out a huge portion of the market if I've got to walk up a ramp or stairs or anything else.
Well, and one thing that you'll see when Nathan gets his pulled up, we have an elevator. This is going to be an all-abilities course. Right now we have a group out in Pennsylvania that's using our equipment to send wheelchair-bound participants in a 600-pound unit, basically their wheelchair and themselves, down a zip line and stop them safely. So we're going to have an elevator for that because we want to have a Michelin star restaurant on top. We really do. We want to go big. You know, wouldn't that be cool to be up there and watching all these people do it and from a Michelin star restaurant? Go ahead.
If I can get from like the Venetian or the Bellagio, I'm walking the strip.
We're already talking to UVU because I want to get from the engineering department down to the library. Okay.
I'm curious about staffing. Do you need to have somebody at each zip line, and isn't that a significant cost?
What we're doing with that is we're going to use AI. So my trolleys use a friction braking element, and you put it in a pin placement between the wheel and the brake. That adjusts your slope. So AI is going to come up, you're going to put your trolley on there, it's going to look at what position you are in, and then a robot or mechanical will release you.
So there will be no people?
No, we'll have people.
Okay.
Because you have to have people. You know, depending on, and we'll look at it in all, because we're scalable. If you want to bring a group and you want 4 guides, you'll have 4 guides. If you want to do it and move with the guides that you have there, you can do that too.
So triathlete proposing the adventure park, do you have already a location in your mind? What is the location will be the adventure park?
Any municipality, any location like next to a ballpark, anything in a city. We're looking at Utah City as being an ideal place. The Point, that 6-minute city as well. We want to put this everywhere. We want to, because it's a community generator. It's not going to be just one, people are going to go there. It's going to be a destination. It's going to be a place to walk your children. It's going to be a place to go listen to stories. We're going to have Dad's Day where dads can bring their children and get in free. Moms can bring their children and they get in free. And we'll have storytelling talking about moms and dads. And yeah, and that's going to be easy. We've got either signage or vinyl or something that we can string up so that we can get, and then we can put heaters in there. So we've already thought about that, and yeah. But realistically, 250 days, if we're getting the right amount of people.
Yeah, these are good investor questions, Mike, so you can prep for that, thanks. Go ahead.
Copilot.
Yeah.
Copilot on Microsoft can help you clean up thematically and colors and styles on your deck.
Yeah. And that's why I got a board. You know, I mean, my board's here today. Some of them are here, and I just need to turn stuff, because I know what I'm good at. I'm good at stopping the risk, slowing the risk. Mike.
Yeah, you made a comment, you said, I'm the guy that's gonna save this industry. I think you should lead with that. That's
Okay.
a really powerful point. I kinda got
Yeah.
lost with some of the earlier stuff and I got a new fear of ziplining.
So now let's wrap up with the lunch. Go ahead.
Very quickly, and I second what mentioned, and after that, don't use I hope. Say, I am the guy who is going to save the industry.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
All right, let's give a hand.